Good evening, everybody. I am Seth Eisenberg, right there, and this is Conservative Corner. It is Sunday at 7:01. So if you were here for me, you're in the right place. If you weren't here for me, sorry about your bad luck. Now you're stuck with me. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Well, there's a little bit left, so I hope you had a good weekend. I did not. I worked this weekend for where I earn my money. I was there more than I wanted to be. But I like having a roof over my head, and I've become addicted to food, so I need to make money, or I won't have neither of those. And I get to go back to work tomorrow for another 5 days, unless, of course, like I've said before, I hit lotto. That would be nice. I bought a ticket, actually, so I'm actually in it to win it now. So that'd be really cool. I mean, I know I have a better chance of getting struck by lightning while sword fighting a shark, riding a unicorn, jumping over a rainbow than I do of actually hitting the lotto. But I'm trying, so that's got to count for something. And Thanksgiving's rolling up. But next Friday is Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas, then New Year's. I mean, this year is going by really quick. It's insane. That's why you got to slow down every once in a while and just take it all in, because what's gone is gone, and you don't know what tomorrow is going to be. So you got to enjoy it. Which brings me to a point I want to discuss real quick before we get into it. Um, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a young lady from talking about domestic abuse, sexual abuse, and human trafficking. Sam, I'm gonna mess her last name up, and I hate to do that. Sam Herdron, and I apologize for messing it up, but I've found out recently, as soon as I believe this past Thursday or Friday, as a matter of fact, I found out on Facebook that she'd passed away, which is very sad. She was a very smart woman, very fun to talk to, had a lot of insight. I was going to have her back on. So yeah, that kind of caught me way off guard. She has children and a husband, so she left them behind. So yeah, just if you go back and watch that show, it was really informative. She knew her stuff and it was very helpful. And I wanted to have her back on, but unfortunately, she passed away. So uh, her family has my deepest condolences, and everybody's from America's Pulse Network sends their condolences to her family. But it goes back to what I just said. Sometimes you just got to stop and take everything in, because the only thing you're promised is right now. That's it. You're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised 10 minutes from now. You're not promised 30 seconds from now. You were promised right now, and that is it. And you have to take that into account. Like I said, no one's ever been on their deathbed and said, man, if I just spent more time at the office, my life would be better. No one's ever said that. No one ever will. And I'm not saying you don't work and you be a bum. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is you have to have a balance, a healthy balance, work and then family. You have to have that, like I said, balance, because one is not more, well, family is more important than everything. But you need to have work to support your family. Like I've said before, I don't work for a company. I work for my family. That's who I go to work for 50 hours a week, is my family, not the company. I'm not there to make some man I'll never meet or woman I'll never meet millions of dollars every year. I'm there to put food on the table, and make sure my family has more than make sure that guy makes his monthly bonus of 100 grand. I don't care. That doesn't never crosses my mind. I've never sat at work and said, man, I hope my CEO gets his bonus this month. Man, I've been busting my butt for him. No, it's never crossed I've never ever once, not even like in a dream, if I dreamed about saying that. That's not how it is for me. I work for my family, and I'm sure you all do too. They're your boss. So again, our condolences to her family. She was a great lady, and I'm sure she's going to be missed. And like I said again, just spend that extra 10 minutes with your kids tonight when you read them a story, or stay up a little bit later with your wife or your husband and just be with them, near them, talk to them. Because like I said, we don't know what's going to happen in 10 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen in 30 seconds. So just enjoy what you got while you got it. It's really that. So to her family. So let's get right into it. We're going to start out with the breaking and interesting news. This is First Lieutenant Mark Bradshaw. He's right down the road at Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland. He was discharged for not taking the COVID vaccine back in the day. I got the notes here. Apparently, that is no longer the case. He has been brought back. The U.S. Army has officially granted full reinstatement to former First Lieutenant Mark Bradshaw, retroactively promoted to captain after Undersecretary of War Anthony J. Tata personally intervened to address the last mile delays in the reenlistment or reinstatement process. Undersecretary announced the action on X on Monday. Bradshaw emailed me about several last mile issues in the COVID reinstatement process. We immediately convened U.S. Army leaders to address them. At this stage, any delays are unacceptable. We're committed to reinstating our impacted warriors ASAP. So there you go. That is awesome. I'm glad to hear that. He deserves to be back in, and I'm glad. And I hope, and I'm sure they're gonna pay him prorated pay or proactively pay him since retroactively pay him. Since he's been out front. Right? Doesn't say how long. I'm sure it's been more than a month, so he's probably got a fat paycheck coming to him, and he deserves it. Everybody who was put out of the military for that deserves back pay, and I hope they get it. And if they missed any promotions during that time frame, like this gentleman did, I hope they get them. The Biden administration really stepped into a big pile of shit and hurt a lot of good people based on faulty science. And I think now, since the adults are back in charge, that's slowly being corrected, and I'm glad to hear it. Had it come out that, the COVID vaccine was good and people needed it, it would save lives, then these guys would have deserved to have been fired, but that's not what's been shown. There's more issues with it, and you can't force somebody to take a vaccine. I've never agreed with that. Again, the Biden administration was a joke, and I'm glad they're gone. Don't have to deal with those schmucks anymore. It's just, you can see the difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration. The Biden administration was full-time, 24/7, trying to cover up his mental decline, his dementia. So they really couldn't do anything for anybody else. They weren't worried about the country. They were worried about keeping their jobs. Trump is the other way. He's more worried about the country than he is about keeping his job. It's good to have adults in charge. It brings a sense of calm when you think about it. And I'm not talking about anything else. I'm talking about the general feeling of this country. There's calm. No one's losing their job because they're not taking a shot. No one's being called a racist or a homophobe anymore. People aren't made to feel bad because they don't think boys should be in girls' bathrooms. Things are changing slowly, but they're changing, and that's a good thing. Yeah, that's another liberal piece of shit who's got the IQ of a turnip, just making fun of Charlie Kirk's assassination. For the life of me, I can't understand what goes through these people's heads. I don't know. I don't know what their thought process is. I'm starting to think they don't. I'm starting to think they're mentally handicapped. I've always said liberalism is a mental disorder. And the reason I've said that is because they don't perceive things as they are. They see things as they wish they would be. And to them, that's their reality. That fantasy land they live in, it becomes their reality. There's nothing funny about this. And I'm not saying that because I thought Charlie Kirk was, very articulate. He made very good points. He was constantly, out there talking to people. I'm saying this is just a human being. That's not funny. And all the crap that's around him now. All these people saying, well, his wife was involved with this. Trump was involved with this. This needs to stop. Let the man be dead. let his family move on. And if you have some crackpot conspiracy theory, that's great. And I'm sure you can find morons that'll listen to it. But you got to remember that the guy had kids. At the very least, he has children. And anything you say on the internet, anything, is there forever. So at some point, his kids will be on the internet and they're going to see the BS that you're spewing and they're going to have to listen to it. And I know that the people that are spewing the BS don't care about it because they're looking for thumbs up and they're looking to go viral and they're looking to increase their viewership. But at some point, you just got to stop and go, look, what's more important, being internet famous or being a good human being? I'll take a good human being over having 5 billion followers. I just don't think this is funny. I don't think it was ever funny. I don't think it would be funny if that were Biden. It wouldn't be funny if it were him that were killed. I wouldn't be making fun of that. And I'd be saying the same thing to Republican conservatives. They were making fun of that. This is nothing to joke about. The man was murdered and his family was there. And people just think it's funny. And that kind of sums up society as a whole now. We're slowly slipping into the cesspool. And people like this think it's funny. And nobody, I don't know if that's a chick or a dude or just a guy with man boobs. I don't know. But someone should have pulled him aside or it aside and said, hey, look, that's not funny. And maybe you need your ass kicked to understand how not funny that is. Because I'm personally tired of this. I'm tired of, every Republican, preaching, let's just get along and try to communicate and come to common ground. What's the common ground with somebody like this? What is the compromise with an animal like that? What do you say? Hey, you can do that. Just take the T-shirt off, or it's okay as long as you don't wear the medal. I mean, what is it that we can compromise with this on? What? And I'm not just saying it because it's Charlie Kirk. Like I said, that could be someone making fun of Biden if he was assassinated. I would be saying the same thing. It's not funny. Grow the fuck up. Really, grow up. And again, I don't know if that's a man with boobs or it's a woman with no chest or I don't know what it is, but it's not funny. And I'm not thinking about anything other than Kirk's family, his children. That's what concerns me. They're going to see this one day. They're going to see all this hatred and all this BS and all the crap coming out of people accusing their mother of, people accusing Trump of. They don't need that. Nobody's children need to hear that. And if you're too stupid to realize that, maybe you should unplug your computer, go outside and play in traffic because you're not helping society. You're not a positive influence on anybody. And again, this is just not funny. And trust me, I know funny. I will laugh and yuck it up at some of the darkest stuff in the world. I've got a very warped sense of humor, but that's not funny. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we have the chat open. If you think that's funny, let me know you think it's funny. Explain to me why you think it's funny, and then we can have a back and forth. And I'm not going to try to change your mind. Don't try to change my mind, but I would like to know why anybody would think that's funny or humorous or in any way, shape, or form acceptable. I would really like to hear somebody else's opinion on that. And I got to take it off the screen because I'm tired of looking at that fool. So, yeah, we got liberals running around. They're all for freedom of speech as long as it's agreeing with everything they say and do. Murder's funny as long as it's somebody they don't like. They're just the party of, I don't want to say evil because evil is usually some type of intelligence to it. So it's the party of dumpster fires. That's what it is, the dumpster fire party. It's just a bunch of trash on fire, and nobody can put it out, and it's spreading. I mean, I would like to think that one day that thing, dress up like Charlie Kirk, thinking it's funny, will wake up and go, man, I really need to reach out to that guy's family and apologize. What I did was completely uncalled for. Even if I don't like the guy or agree with the guy, it's going to affect his family. They're going to see this and they need to know. But that'll never happen. He's probably getting told by his other knuckle dragging, mouth breathing, inbred friends how funny and witty he is. And man, you're going to go viral and you're going to become famous in the trailer park and everybody's going to know your name. And the next time you're at the trough doing whatever it is you do, people are going to pat you on your back. And when you're with your wife's sister, you're going to be cool. I don't know. It's just disgusting. I'm disgusted with society as a whole at this point, no matter what happened. I mean, and we're going to get into it a little bit later, but nobody, a vast majority of people are no longer using common sense to guide their decisions. They're not using logic. They're not using facts. They're using their gut and their feelings and stuff that doesn't matter. And that's when we get people like this that don't use logic, don't use intelligence, that go with their feelings. That's when we get this. We get to deal with a schmuck like that who thinks that's funny. Common sense is so rare, it should be considered a superpower now. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not trying to be funny. It's the facts. It's just really a fact now. And it's not anything I'm proud of or we all should be laughing at. It's something that needs to be corrected in this country. And I don't know if it will anytime soon. And again, we can't put this all on Trump. We can't say Trump will fix it. That's one person. One person can't fix all the ills of our country. It's us, the people, that have to start standing up to people like that and go, look, that's not funny. Stop. You had your minute. Go away. There are children here. His children. I mean, stop. But we're not going to do that because that's his First Amendment right. Yes, it is. And I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying he shouldn't do it. And someone should, maybe he doesn't know any better. Maybe he hit his head and he's stupid and doesn't know. And someone goes, hey, Paul, that's not funny. You shouldn't do that. Well, I didn't know that. Who knows? Who knows? But maybe he should be told. I'm sure he's not stupid. I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing. And he's okay with it. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part. So that's the breaking and interesting news and that I'd share with you. Get right into the show. I'm sure everybody's been keeping up to date with the Hamas Israeli ceasefire that's been going on, and Hamas has apparently broken it, and Israel's retaliated, and of course, all the anti-Semitic trash is jumping on, Hamas. They're good. They're not. It's Israel's fault. It's their fault, and it just never ends with those people. Never ends. I think there was a gymnastics competition in Indonesia or something like that. And they banned the Israeli athletes from being there because, it's all about the terrorist organization and making sure they feel good and welcome and that they know everybody loves them. Not the Israeli athletes who've done nothing to anybody except practice their asses off to get to where they're at, to only to be told by some third world nation that they can't be there. Number one, Israel should be happy they're not there because they're not going to catch some disease that hasn't been named yet. I don't think it's a bad thing not going there. I mean, what is Indonesia's major export? Hepatitis? I mean, what are they known for? So it's probably good they weren't there. But I'm sure they're disappointed because, like I said, these are athletes that have trained and trained to be there, and they're being told no by mouth breathers. So I kind of feel sorry for the Israeli gymnastic team, but it's probably a good thing. But back to Hamas. They have, let me skip one, I'm sorry. Here it is. They can't find all the bodies of the hostages they've killed. They're going to need more time to find them. So they're asking for more time. And Trump said, yeah, sure, you got 48 hours. You got 48 hours to find the people that you kidnapped and then murdered, and now you can't find their bodies. You got 48 hours. And again, all the people that were protesting wars have not said a word about this. They're not out there screaming, yelling, hey, Hamas, release the hostages. You need to get these people back home. No, of course they're not doing that because, as I said last weekend, this has nothing to do with Israel. This has nothing to do with the war. This is anti-Semitism on display, hiding behind, war. They're trying to, this is all just about the war, the aggression. No, it's not, because if it were, you'd be screaming about this now too. But you're not. You're not, because this is all about being anti-Israel, anti-Jewish. And if you're anti-Israel, you're anti-Jewish. I'm tired of hearing people splitting hairs. Well, no, it's the Jews I like. I just don't like Israel. Really? I don't like priests, but I like Catholics. No, you can't have it both ways. I mean, in your little sick world, you probably can. But here in the real world, where a majority of us live, that's not how it works. Not how it works. You can be against the war, but that means it goes both ways. If Israel's bombing the cities, okay, you can be against that, but now you have to be against Hamas for not returning the bodies of the people they kidnapped, which is against the Geneva Convention, by the way, because they're non-combatants. The people they kidnapped, raped, and murdered. You have to be against that too. And if you're not, this is, like I said, this is not about a war. You're not anti-war. You're anti-Israel. Hamas kidnapped non-combatants, drugged them into holes in the ground, murdered some of them, raped them, and now they can't find the bodies of the people they murdered. And we're supposed to be okay with that. Like, well, they're trying. If I were Israel, the minute I got the phone call or the text message, however they tell each other, hey, we can't find the body, I would have started bombing that country again immediately. Like, okay, that's fine. We understand. Bomb them. Go back. We're going back to war. I'm not doing this anymore. Every time we take a step forward, these troglodytes take 3 steps back and the world goes, it's okay. They're trying. I don't give a shit what the world says anymore. I don't care what anybody tells me anymore. They have murdered and raped my countrymen. Now they can't find the bodies. You know what? I'm going to give you some bodies. I'll help you find some bodies. And I would bomb the shit out of them straight for 48 hours. I would not stop. I don't care what country said what. I don't care what anybody said. I would bomb. If there were still standing buildings, I would put them down. If I saw anybody with a gun that I thought Hamas was Hamas, I'd drop a bomb on them. I would put the fear of God into them. So the next time they think about doing something, they're going to remember, no. Remember what happened last time? For 48 straight hours, they bombed us. They bombed us into the ground. We can't mess with those people anymore. We need to stop. But that's not going to happen. And that's why I'll never be in charge of a country, because I would lose my shit like that 17 times a day. And this all goes back to America. When they had American hostages that Hamas took, Biden didn't do shit to get them back. He expected Israel to do it, but then told them in the manner in which they can get the hostages back. Don't be too aggressive. Stop doing this. You need to give aid. You need to do. That just sums up the kind of president he was. He was more worried about how it looked globally than about his fellow countrymen in holes in the ground with animals that were raping people and murdering babies. That's his concern, was making sure we looked good. And then you have people say, well, Israel's murder babies. Yes, they do. But they don't do it on purpose. They don't go into a town, run into an apartment complex or a community and start shooting people, children and women. They don't rape people. Hamas does that. And still not a peep from any of these fucking movie stars that are anti-Israel. Not a peep from any of these uneducated fools from idiot schools. Not a peep from them condemning what Hamas has done. Not a peep. There's some schmuck influencer who went into Costco, and Gal Gadot, who's a good-looking woman. I don't care who you are. She's a good-looking woman. Apparently sells snacks or some type of food products at Costco. So this idiot goes in there and says, oh, I didn't know this. And pulls out his phone because, that's his work tool. And he's videoing himself in Costco like, this is from Gal Gadot. I can't believe Costco would sell that, colonizers food here. We need to boycott them. I can't imagine being such a loser with a meaningless life that I would go out of my way to find things that upset me, go live to show other people what's upset me so that those losers can be just as upset as I am about something that nobody cares about. Nobody cares except those losers. What has her food got to do with anything? Are you going to ban or cancel anything that has to do with Hamas because they can't find bodies of people they murdered and raped? Are we going to do anything about that? Or we're just worried about the cookies that Gal Gadot is selling because she's Jewish. But it's not about her being Jewish. It's just because she's Israeli. She could be any other nation, anything else in the world. She could be a Buddhist in Israel. That would be fine. But it's just because she's Israeli we want to cancel her. And people buy that bullshit. They believe that. You only have to have an IQ of a houseplant to realize, like I said, this ain't about Israel. It's about Jews. This is about Jews because they're not condemning Hamas. They are not condemning Hamas. So yeah, that idiot went to Costco and he's, we got to boycott them, stop shopping here. Of course, there are people jumped on, I didn't know she had stuff there. I will cancel my membership right now. No, you won't. You're not going to cancel your membership. It looks good and sounds good on Facebook. All your woke friends are like, yay. You're going to be there tomorrow buying 9 pounds of hamburger meat and a 25-gallon jug of mayonnaise. Stop it. Nobody believes you. I don't even think you believe your own shit. So stop. You get your 25-pound big jug of mayonnaise and like 20 gallons of pickles. You're still going to go there, so stop. Trump has said that Hamas will not be hard to take care of if their ceasefire fails. And I would consider this a failure. You're not returning the bodies of the people you murdered so they can be laid to rest properly. You've not done that. I think that violates a ceasefire, and I think we need to stop treating these people with kid gloves. Hamas is a terrorist organization. Always has been, always will be. There's not only 40 or 50 people in Gaza that support Hamas. They were voted into office. Voted in. Recent polls have shown that 70% of the people they talked to in Gaza agreed with October 7th. So it's not like we're bombing innocent people. We're bombing people who believe that the Israelis and the Jews should be wiped off the face of the planet. They have balked at every ceasefire that's ever come their way. Every truce they have violated. Why do we think that this time will be different? Obviously, it won't be. They've already violated. They're not returning bodies. Why are we not going into Gaza or just letting the Marines go into Gaza and say, do what you got to do, clean it up? That would take all of 3 days with the U.S. Marine Corps. And those guys would love to go over there. They've been chomping at the bit to do something. Give them something to do besides eat crayons. I was in the Navy. I can make fun of Marines. I can make fun of people in the Air Force. And I can make fun of the Coast Guard. If you weren't in the military, you probably could get away with making fun of the Air Force because I think everybody can. Other than that, I can do this. So I don't want any more like nasty text messages. Like, you can't do that. You didn't. I served. My daughter served. My brother served. My stepbrother served. My father was a police officer. We've all served society. So I can make fun of the crayon eaters if I want to. And they can make fun of me. That is fine. That's how it goes. So yes, let the Marines go in there and do their job. And let's clean up Gaza. At this point, it's a waste of everybody's time waiting for them to adhere to the ceasefire. They're not. What more do we need? How much more do we need? What more proof do we need to be shown that they're not taking this seriously, that they don't care? And you know why they don't care and they're not taking it seriously? Because every time they turn on the TV, there's some idiot movie star or some college professor or a bunch of college students wearing the kippahs, waving the Palestinian flag saying, down with Israel from the, river to the sea. They have no pressure put on them. There's no pressure at all. There are countries that support them. Turkey is a huge supporter of Hamas. They've allowed the Hamas leadership to take refuge in their country. There's no pressure on these people to do the right thing. We need to apply some pressure. It's called pain compliance. And if you're a police officer and you watch this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Get out of the car, I'm not getting out of the car. Get out of the car, I'm not getting out of the car. So you bend their wrist or you lock their arm in an awkward position so it hurts, because then they will listen to you. They will get out of the car. Same thing would apply to Gaza. Pain compliance. Obviously, the ass whooping Israel put on them wasn't enough because they're still fucking about. Guess what? Like I said a minute ago, go back to it. Kick their ass for another 48 hours, and then maybe they'll find. I can guarantee you, if they started bombing them right now and they said, until we get the bodies back, we're not going to stop. Within 20 minutes, they find out, we found them. It's crazy. We found them. Just stop. We'll bring them out. I guarantee you, this is all a game for them. They want to see how far they can push it before they get pushed back. And as soon as the pushback starts, they're going, no, it's cool. We found them. Sorry about that. Here it is. We're good. You can stop now. Eliminating Hamas would be doing a favor for the world. It's that simple. And then everybody fails to realize that, Israel's being nasty. Well, really? How come Egypt is not letting any of these refugees from Gaza into their country? Why are none of the other Muslim countries in the world going, hey, you can come here, we'll take you in? You know why? Because they don't trust them either. Nobody trusts those people. That's why their own people won't let them into their countries. I don't understand why this is so complicated. I don't understand why people are still defending Hamas or ignoring what they're doing just to point out what Israel's doing. It's like they're stepping over the body of the dead people that Hamas murdered on October 7th so they can scream at Israel for defending themselves. That's what it is, and it's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm thirsty. So yeah, people are still defending Hamas, and they're going to keep defending them because that's just the way it goes. Once again, Turkey, leveraging long-nurtured Hamas ties, Turkey in the thick of efforts to end the Gaza war. They don't want to end it because they want it to end. They think they're going to get something out of it. By joining indirect talks in Egypt between Israel and Hamas, Turkey hopes to use its long-standing relationship with the terror group to help end the Gaza war. Speaking late Tuesday, Turkey President Recep, whatever his name is, Erdogan, and I don't care if I'm he's a dictator anyway, requested that we meet with Hamas and persuade them to accept the peace plan the U.S. leader laid out last month. If they let Turkey involved in any of this, that's a big mistake because Turkey is just one step above a terrorist country. See, since 2011, he's provided a place of refuge for leaders of the terror group, which he considers a resistance movement. I guess rape is now a resistance. Murdering babies is on purpose is now considered a resistance movement. Kidnapping and murdering hostages is a resistance movement. That sums that man up too. And when we get done with Gaza, should go right to Turkey, clean up that shithole too. While we're at it, just clean up the whole Middle East. Get rid of all the dictators, put all the terrorist organizations on notice that your time is over. We are coming for you. You will not know when it happens. You're going to wake up and there'll be a 5,000-pound slick bomb sitting in the middle of your hut. Enjoy the time you got left. We're done with you. That would only make the world a better place to get rid of all these terrorist organizations, all these dictators, all these strongmen, all these people. We got rid of them, the world would be a better place. Instantly, it would be a better place. Speaking of morons, Ireland has just elected a moron. Meet Catherine Connolly. She is anti-Israel, pro-Hamas. She's also about DEI, equity, and all that fun stuff that just really doesn't work in the real world, but looks good on paper, and will also bring the idiots in your country to your side because she won with 63% of the votes because there's a lot of idiots. She's now in charge of Ireland. I can't imagine how that's going to be good for anyone in Ireland that has an IQ or has a functioning IQ. That country is probably just going to slip quicker into the shithole. Too bad Conor McGregor didn't run and win. He would have been better than this. He would have been exponentially better than this thing that they've elected. Maybe she's just like typical liberals, ran her mouth to get elected. She's not going to follow up on anything. But I don't know. I hope she's all talk, paper tiger, like the moron in New York who's running for mayor. Another frightening individual. He cannot win. I can't stress that enough. He cannot win. What I don't agree with is people are saying the government's going to try to deport him. I don't agree with that, unless there's legal reason to do so. But if they're just doing it because they're afraid he might win the election, I do not support that at all. If he violated or lied on his application to become a citizen or something like that, then yes. But then if he's done it, everybody else who's done it has to face the same consequences. And if you're a conservative, that's the way you got to look at it. If he's here legally and follow the law, so be it. He's here. If he lied or did anything illegal to get here, then yes, he needs to go. But you can't be a conservative and say, no, he has to go because I don't like him. He's a communist or socialist. We need to get him out of here. That's not a conservative value. So yeah, but he can't win, and I'm frightened that he might. I'm hoping that he doesn't, but something tells me I think he's gonna. So we're gonna have to wait and find out about that. So yeah, this schmuck Catherine Connolly wins the Irish presidency in a historic landslide, securing record-breaking 63% of the votes. And The trailer parks went crazy. And I'm not making fun of you live in a trailer park. Understand that. It's just a thing. Okay? Don't take it personal. You can make fun of me where I live if you want to. I think my house is like 1,300 square foot. It's tiny. You can make fun of it. Make fun of me. I don't care. It's called humor. Don't take it personal. Every time I turn around, I've told you, I'll keep telling you, anti-Semitism is getting worse. And it doesn't stop with Jews. They will come for Christians. They will come for Protestants. They will come for Buddhists. They will, once they get done with one, do you think that anger just magically disappears? And now they're all hunky-dory? No, they'll find somebody else to be angry with. And then they'll find somebody else until there's nobody else to be angry at. Then they'll implode and there'll be like a civil war. We don't want it to get that far. So if you work somewhere, or you're out somewhere, or what have you, and you hear someone spewing anti-Semitic crap or supporting Hamas, as hard as it's going to be, you need to say something. Because trust me, you're not the only person that feels the same way you do in that space. If you say something, somebody else will pipe up with you. And before you know it, you'll have more people telling that person to shut up or get out than you ever thought imaginable. We need to start making them feel uncomfortable. I'm not talking about violence. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you can be assertive and you can be loud just like they are and make them feel uncomfortable. Let them know that that crap's not welcome where you're at and they need to leave. Make them uncomfortable. If you're in a workplace and someone's talking about that, go to your HR representative and file a complaint. Every time they say something, go file a complaint. Become a thorn in their side until they do something about it because you're in the right. It's got to stop. It's getting worse. All the time it gets worse. And I've told you it would. Please, let's nip this in the bud. All right, let's take a break, come back, and we'll keep rapping.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Old, but it sums up what I'm going to talk about. People think they can do it like a police fight, they don't like what they're doing. And it's not. It's not. In no way, shape, or form is that legal. That's why resisting arrest is a crime. I don't understand why people think. Number one, let's break it down. ICE is enforcing federal law. They're not enforcing Trump's whims. They are enforcing the law that can be quantified. You can look it up and you can find it. It's there. Trump did not write the law. It's not a law that was written into existence 20 minutes ago. It has been on the books forever. We've just had inept and incompetent presidents and administrations prior to this that didn't look at the border as a serious issue. They didn't think it was worth enforcing that law. It was okay for people to pour across the border, bring in fentanyl, probably terrorists crossing the border unknown and illegally. That was okay. Driving up prices for healthcare, bringing labor prices pay down because people come across the border will do a job that normally would charge $10 an hour. They'll do it for $4. So President Trump has not acting out of hand. He's not doing anything that's illegal. This is all law. He's enforcing the law. ICE just happens to be the department that enforces it. Local police should be backing them up because federal law supersedes state law, which supersedes local law. If you're out and about and you see ICE doing something, arresting an illegal immigrant or conducting an investigation, what have you, you have no legal right to interfere with that. None. Just if you were driving by and saw a state trooper or a police officer, a sheriff, deputy sheriff doing a traffic stop, you have no right to interject yourself into that stop at all. It's illegal. You can be arrested for obstruction or interfering with the lawful course of a police officer's duty. You can be arrested immediately for that. Now, if the officer is doing something untoward and you wouldn't know because you're not an officer and you don't have a degree in law, maybe you could get involved and say that needs to stop. But even then, you should call for somebody else to come out. You have no legal right to interfere with the legal activities of a law enforcement officer, federal, state, or local. None at all. End of story. Hard stop. And if you do, you're going to get your ass kicked and you're going to be arrested. If you interfere with ICE, you're going to be charged with a felony. So you're going to do jail time. And you're going to get your ass kicked, and you're going to get fined, which all makes me laugh. There are video after video after video on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere, of morons jumping in to fight ICE because they have no right to pull these people off the street. They have every right. It's legal. If it wasn't legal, by now the Supreme Court would have said something, or someone would have gone to the Supreme Court and they'd have struck it down. But they haven't because it's legal. If you're in this country illegally, you're going to be arrested and deported. You have had decades to get right with the law, to apply for citizenship, to take the steps to make your stay here legal. You have chosen not to do this for whatever reason. You've chosen not to follow the steps that millions of other people before you have followed. You cannot play the victim now. This is all on you. You have chose this course of action. You have put yourself in this position to be arrested, separated from your family, and sent back to the shithole whence you came. You have done this. I feel no pity for you. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the ICE officers and the local police departments that have to deal with the idiots that are out there thinking that they're doing God's work by fighting police officers at ICE who are just simply doing their job and enforcing the law. That's who I feel sorry for. I don't care if you've been in this country 35 years and you own 5 million houses and 27 businesses and you've cured the blind and helped the lame walk. You are here illegally. You've had 35 years to do the right thing. You've chosen not to. You've thumbed your nose at our Constitution. It is time for you to go. End of story. If you got kids, if they were born here, for I don't know how much longer that'll be, they can stay here because they're considered citizens. So no one's breaking your family up unless you choose to have your family broken up. But number two, if I get arrested today for something, I get separated from my family. Nobody's out there screaming and crying for me. I don't got people throwing themselves in front of cops because I can't go see my family for however long I'm sentenced. This is all selective outrage. Selective, and it's based on feelings, not facts. It's based on emotions, not the law. We have to get back to a time in our country when people respected the law. And if you broke the law, people looked down on you. Didn't judge you, just looked down on you because maybe you had a reason. Like that guy who's running for sheriff, I can't remember where, who killed the man that raped his daughter. Yeah, you broke the law. Yeah, you murdered a person, but it was deserved. That man deserved to die. Maybe not by your hand. Maybe you should have let the law take it. Whatever. That's different. If you're in this country illegally, know you were here illegally and did nothing to protect it or protect yourself by doing the right thing, and now you're crying the blues because they're coming for you, you know what this is? It's the world's smallest violin. And it's playing just for you. And all you preachers and reverends and holy people out there telling you, fight it. Don't, you come to this country. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God's. Which means you follow the laws of the leaders that are appointed over you while you're here, as long as it doesn't go against God. And enforcing the law does not go against God. Because we're not enforcing a law that says, hey, if you have blue eyes or green hair or whatever, we're going to kill you. That's not what's happening. So don't throw the Bible in my face. And I'm going to have, like I said, I'm going to try to get a pastor, a gentleman I know, a very smart man who's got a master's in theology, have him on there, and I can ask him that question. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does say in the Bible what we're doing is wrong. And if that's the case, I'll apologize for being wrong. But I don't think anywhere in the Bible does it say to break the law, that you're okay to break laws that make sense, that aren't against God, that aren't evil. And if you can name me one country that doesn't have a border and doesn't enforce them, I'd like to know. I can't think of any country that just lets you come in willy-nilly, stay as long as you want, and not be assigned to be there. Like you haven't taken a test, you've been naturalized. I can't think of one country that allows you to do that. And if they do, they won't be a country very long. I mean, one of the reasons the Roman Empire fell is because of that thing, unchecked immigration. They let anybody come into the family, and they lost their identity. They lost their national identity. They lost their language. They lost their art. They lost everything that made them who they were because they just allowed people to come in. Who does that sound like? And I'm not a historical genius, but I can read, and I've read that. And there are other reasons, of course, for the fall of Rome, but that was one of the reasons. Unchecked mass immigration, allowing millions of immigrants just to come in. And that's what we're doing. That's what we were doing. That's what Biden did. And you know what, the more I think about it, I don't think Biden really did anything as president. I think he was too busy trying to figure out where the ice cream was. I think people behind the scenes were running his administration because the man has dementia. I don't care what anybody says. He has dementia. You could listen to him talk and just look at him and knew he was vacant. He was talking about his leg hair. I mean, what adult talks about kids rubbing his legs because he has blonde legs? I mean, what? Christ. It's like this country's taking a stupid pill. And I don't mean everybody. And I'm tired of saying that. If you think I'm talking about you, probably I am. But if you're smart, you know I'm not. And it won't offend you. So yeah, you have no legal right to resist arrest. None. Especially if it's a lawful arrest. You just got to suck it up and deal with it. Get a good lawyer. Resisting arrest is a legal term describing the act of intentionally preventing a law enforcement officer from taking an individual into custody. This crime specifically occurs during confrontations where officers are attempting to arrest someone for a different charge or for questioning. So all these people you see when ICE is breaking up riots or local police is breaking up riots and they're trying to arrest somebody and some idiot's trying to pull them away from the police, that is resisting arrest. That is obstruction. They can be arrested too. When they're trying to pull in immigrants to arrest them and these people running up to them trying to get in their way, that is obstruction or resisting. If they're arresting somebody and they fight, that is resisting. You are not legally allowed to do that. That's why it's a criminal charge. If it were legal, it would not be a charge. And if you don't agree with the law, great. Get with your congressman or your senator and tell them to sponsor a bill that would change that. And once it changes and the law of the land says you can resist, I'll defend it because it's the law of the land. Until then, shut up. Shut up. You resist arrest, you're going to get beat harder. You're going to do more time in jail than you would have originally, and the fines will be bigger. 9 times out of 10, if you just shut your mouth, check your ego at the door, do what you're told, you're probably going to walk away. Really. Even if you're like at a protest and you're being loud and nasty, you're in the cop's face and they tell you to back up and you back up, they're not going to mess with you. It's when you stand there and you don't listen to them and you try to break up an arrest or you try to get in their way when they're making an arrest, that's when you get in trouble. That's what turns a little thing into a full-blown court case, and you got to get a lawyer and you're looking at time. It's ego. So if you see this, mind your business and walk the other way. It's really that easy. It is really that simple. Oh, the man's under arrest. I should shut my goddamn mouth and walk away. There you go. They're not beating on this guy. They're not hurting this guy. This guy's not fighting. You know why? Because he knows he's wrong. Every time you see ICE arrested people come out of court, are they fighting? No, they're crying because they realize they screwed up and got caught. Why fight? You know they're right. You know you're wrong. This guy's not fighting. These officers don't look like they were in a scuffle. You don't need to interject yourself into that arrest. Go back to work or go back to lunch or get in your car and go home. Because if you get involved with that and you're obstructing or you're fighting with the cops and you're resisting arrest, you are not going to be able to go home for months. And when you do, you won't be able to afford it anymore because the fines will have killed you. You won't have any money in your account. And you can't blame anybody else other than yourself because you did that to yourself. Not a lawyer, not giving legal advice, giving common sense advice. You see someone getting arrested, mind your damn business and move on. If you think the arrest is not right, call someone, call 911, take a picture, take a video, get it to somebody. Don't jump in and try to break the person out. Don't stop the officers who are trying to make the arrest. Don't get Nice's way pushing and shoving them because you are going to be wrong. You're going to be arrested. I'm going to laugh at you. And once you're in that system, you don't get out. It ain't easy to get out. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, minding your own business and doing what you're told, you're going to go home. I was pulled over the other day, speeding. I knew I was speeding. Saw the cop get behind me, turn his red and blues on. Of course I'm cussing because nobody likes being told no. Nobody likes having their mistakes pointed out. Nobody likes it, including me. Officer comes to my window. I roll my window down all the way. Not that little 2-centimeter bull crap. I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Rolled my window down all the way. I had my hands on the steering wheel. My car was turned off. I don't have keys. I get the push button thing, but I had the fob on top of my dashboard so the officer could see it. Interior light was on, and I sat there until he said something to me. He said, good afternoon. I'm from the Frederick County Sheriff's Department. I clocked you speeding. I don't remember. It wasn't that much. I think it was a 60 mile an hour zone. I was doing 75. I caught you speeding today. Is there any reason why you were going that fast? I said, yes. I worked late, and I'm late getting my son. So really no excuse. Stupidity, and I apologize. Okay, so I just need to see your driver's license, your registration, and I'll be right back. And Maryland, you don't have to show proof of insurance. So they didn't ask for that. So he walks away. 10 minutes later, he comes back and goes, here's your warning, sir. Please slow it up and have a nice day. Great. Let's do that same scenario with some of the idiots I've seen on Facebook do. Cop comes to your door, you roll it down 2 inches, and you look straight ahead. Car's still running, lights are off inside. You just, how you doing, sir? I'm Deputy Johns from the Frederick County Sheriff's Department. Do you know why I pulled you? I don't answer questions. Okay, I need to get you. I don't have to give you my driver's license. I got to show it to you. Oh, well, I don't answer questions. Same guy 20 minutes later as he's waking up on the side of the road missing teeth, wondering what the hell just happened. Why am I going to jail? Why is my car being impounded? Why am I being fined $5,000? Why is my license suspended for a year? People like that will never realize, check your ego. That's all it is. Just shut your mouth. You were in the wrong. I have never met a police officer. My father's a retired police officer. I've never met a police officer in my life that goes out looking to get people because that all entails paperwork on the ass end. And they don't want to sit in their substation doing paperwork for hours on end. They don't want to do that. They'd rather be on the street helping people. They don't get together at the beginning of their shift and go, hey, look today, guys, let's just go ahead and round up all these people because I really want to do some paperwork this weekend. I want to do like 30, 40 hours of paperwork and spend 50, 60 hours in court. I want to waste all my time doing that while there's people on the street hurting or breaking the law and I can't get to them because I'm doing paperwork. They don't want to do that. They don't want to mess with you. They don't want to deal with your ego or your insecurities or your bullshit or your trying to go viral. Just like ICE doesn't want to deal with people fighting with them while they're trying to arrest somebody who broke the law. They don't want to deal with that. They want to do their job and go home. Just like when you go to work, you don't want anybody to mess with you while you're at work. You just want to do your job and go home. Because I guarantee most of these people who act like that to ICE agents or police officers in general probably have no job. Are probably sitting at home watching reruns of like Real Wives of Atlanta, drinking eating ice cream out of the carton and eating rolled up bologna, sitting in their underwear, wondering where their life went wrong. So while they're miserable, they want to make everybody else miserable around them. So they go mess with the police because they know police can't do anything back to you. You can sit there and scream and yell at a cop and there's nothing he can do to you unless you touch him. And that makes them feel good. It probably gives them a boner when they do that. So yeah, if you mess with the police, you're going to get arrested. So stay away. You see an arrest going on with ICE like this, make sure that example one more time. If you see that going on, Stay out of it. Stay out of it. You're not a lawyer. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shoving your phone in his face doesn't intimidate them. Saying, get me your supervisor doesn't intimidate them because they're on the right side of the law. You just look like a jackass. And like I said, if you really think there's something wrong, take a picture, take a video, and get it to a police department. Call somebody immediately. You have no right to interfere in a police stop. Ask any lawyer in the world, they're going to tell you the same thing. You have no legal right to intervene in an arrest at all. None. And if you do, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I can't believe I got to tell adults this. That I got to explain how you act with a police officer, ICE arresting somebody. Makes my beard itch. The stupid is still strong in this country. And we can't allow it just to fester and go on and on and on. We can't. If not for yourself, for your children, what kind of world or country are they going to get when we're gone? What are we leaving them? A bunch of granola eating, tree hugging, tofu sprout eating hipsters that let everybody do what they want to do because it feels good? We don't need the law. If it makes you feel good, just do it. Yeah, that country will last all of 10 minutes. So yeah, stand up for what's right. And I've always said, stand up for what's right is never easy. You're going to catch a lot of hell for it. But it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, you can look yourself in the mirror and go, I did the right thing. I did the right thing. I'm proud of what I did. I didn't do it because I was virtual signaling. I didn't do it because I was trying to be woke. I didn't do it because I'm a social justice warrior. I didn't do it because I wanted to go viral. I did it because it was the right damn thing to do. And how do I know it was the right thing to do? Because everybody's screaming and yelling at me that are social justice warriors, that are woke, that are, think they're morally superior to me. They're all yelling at me. So I know I did the right thing. Doing the right thing that's the resistance. That's what takes balls to do. Seeing Antifa beating on a cop, and you pull the Antifa off and you beat Antifa. That's the right thing to do. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I don't know. But I just believe that's the way things should go.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
That was Alexandra Levine, our White House correspondent, who also has podcasts on this network, America's Pulse Network, 2 days a week. Really smart chick, has really good shows. They're fun to watch. She's fun to watch. She gets really very passionate about what she's talking about. Then we have Damon the Hammer Galdo, who was talked about the first break. Again, very smart guy. Has a really good show. He has a radio show. I think he's taking a little break from that for a while because he's running for Congress, I believe. So he's back in that. So if you live in New Jersey, I don't know if you'd claim publicly to live in New Jersey. I'm kidding. But if you live in New Jersey, support him. Damon Sherrod might have this screen, and if he does, you can put it up. November 4th, Damon Galdo is going to be at
righteous pride in this one big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
in Blackwood, New Jersey. Starts at 6. I will be arriving probably around 6:30 because, again, it's a little bit of a drive to there from where I'm at. But it'll be a good time. You'll be able to meet me in person. I'm sure Damon's done some things out there publicly before, so maybe you'll be meeting him again or for the first time. The puppet master, Damon Sherrod, will be there setting everything up, making sure everything runs smoothly so you can meet him and ask him, how the hell do you put up with Seth? Do you take Valium before his shows? I mean, what is it that you do that makes you deal with it? I could not deal. I watched that man for an hour and a half and I'm losing my mind. So he'll be there. You can talk to him, talk to me. It'll be a good time. I don't imagine in that type of setting. There'll be music there. There's going to be food. Apparently Skeeter's is a pretty cool place. Again, I've never been there, but make an effort to get there. If you know the reason to be around other like-minded patriots, support some really good candidates, and have a good time. I know it's a work night, but that's no excuse. If I can make the drive from where I'm at, I think it's like a 3-hour drive. If I can make that drive, you can come out for a couple hours and hang out. Really. It'll be a good time. So yeah, that'll be November 4th, Skeeters, Blackwood, New Jersey, starting at 6 and running till, I don't know what, hey, Damon, what's last call in New Jersey? Is it same as Maryland? Is it 2 o'clock? Is it 1 o'clock in the morning? I'm unfamiliar with the liquor laws in Jersey. Damon is letting me know now. Wednesday. Oh, it's on Wednesday. So be there Wednesday, November 4th. And what is last call? He's typing. See, I'm not from Jersey. I don't know the rules there. I don't want to tell you all wrong. And well, Seth said we could do this till this time. I'm sorry. It's Tuesday, 11 to 11. Tuesday the 11th till 11 on the 4th. Correct? Is that what you're saying? You can jump on if you want to. That's fine. Because obviously I'm misinterpreting what you're saying.
There I am. Well, you better watch out. I'm on my Valium.
There you go. Good for you. I want some.
Okay, so it's Tuesday. It starts at 6. It goes until they close, which is, like you said, 1 or 2 o'clock the following Wednesday morning. But they'll have a live band there till like 10 or 11 or something like that on it. It's basically an election party for all the candidates for the surrounding counties, whether it's from a Board of Education all the way up to Assembly congressmen that are running and stuff, to come and be at one place and have a good time.
Cool. And it's family friendly. So if you have kids, they can come.
Yep.
So you have no excuse not to be there. You can bring your family. Yep. I mean, I wouldn't bring like a 2-year-old. That'd probably get annoying for you more than us. But if you want
unless they weren't sleeping well, then you needed to give them a little bit of something to help them go to sleep.
Jack Daniels is a wonderful sleep aid for a child. Not that I would know. I've never done that. I've only heard it. I don't know. And Damon will have Valium with him. So if you need to have a Valium, he can give you one. So, yep, there you go, everybody. There's no excuse not to be there. It'll be a good time. Like I said, you'll be able to meet me, meet both Damons, get to see Alexander and Elena Barbera, the base mother, coming in. Be a good time. So I hope I see a lot of you there. If you come there and you saw this or heard this, let me know, hey, I saw you and I'm here because you told me I needed to be here. And maybe I'll buy you a beer. Maybe. No promises. I don't know. Or maybe I'll give you like some cocktail peanuts or something. But just try to make it there. That's that. Okay. Again, there's stuff going on in Venezuela that I wanted to talk about, and I'm sure everybody's heard about it. I mean, you've probably heard, but well, we can't be doing that in international waters. These people are just fishermen. And then you've heard, they're not fishermen. They're drug runners, and they're getting what they deserve. Before I go further, here's my take. If they're drug runners, and it can be proven, and I'm sure they're not just randomly shooting at boats coming out of Venezuela. I'm sure there's people that are identifying these boats before they leave and letting us know, hey, this boat has drugs on it. All the pictures I've seen of the boats before they're put down, there's no fishing gear. There's big barrels. You can assume that in those barrels is not talcum powder. It's drugs. And if that is the case and they are drug dealers, I say, hoorah, keep doing it. Drug cartels have killed millions of people. They're not innocent. They are not victims. I understand that maybe the drug runners are not educated and they're doing this to feed their families. And you know what? Okay, but that doesn't excuse you what you're doing. I can understand you need to feed your family. Trust me. If my family were in dire situations, I would break the law to feed my family too. And I don't think there's a parent out there that wouldn't do that. After they exhaust every other option there is, they would do what they have to do to feed their family. I understand that. But that wouldn't excuse what I do. That doesn't make it okay. You're running drugs, you're dealing poison to other families and killing them. It's called karma. But if it finds out these people were just fishermen and they were just going out to catch grouper or something like that, well, then, yeah, there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some arrests, all that. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think it's a bunch of innocent fishermen going out for a day trip and they're just getting picked on by the U.S. Navy. Don't think so. I'm willing to bet that they are, in fact, drug runners, and we're doing what we have to do to protect our country. That is a whole lot of pain right there. That is enough firepower right there to level the entire country of Venezuela completely. I don't want to say overnight, but damn close to it. We have the premier Navy in the world. We are the most technologically advanced, technologically superior Navy the world has ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I was in the Navy. I'm saying because it's a fact. One aircraft carrier alone can damage a country almost beyond repair. I believe right now, let me check my notes here, SecDef deployed a U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier to complement its complement of guided missile destroyers to South America's coast, according to the spokesman. The USS Gerald R. Ford, its onboard warplanes, and the other ships in its battle group are deploying to dismantle transnational criminal organizations and counter narco-terrorism in the region. Apparently, there's also, I think, 3,600 Marines are down there, however many sailors it takes to run these ships. I also have read that there's spec warfare down there for the Navy, which would be the Navy SEALs. There's also, I believe, Delta has been reported to be down in the area. And I hope not. I hope we're not looking to invade Venezuela. I really don't want that. I don't think we need to do that. I've also read that the president of Venezuela has reached out to Trump and made promises if we back off, he'll do X, Y, and Z. Of course, Trump has said no because you can't trust the president and it's almost guaranteed he's under the employment or in the pay of cartels. And that's just how it is down in those countries. That's just how it is. It's not a judgment call. It's just a fact. Either you play or you go away down there. But I don't think we should be invading another country simply because there's a portion of that country that is dealing drugs. I think what we're doing is perfect. I think what we're doing is fine. I think sending down this strike group along with the other elements is going to scare everybody. And if it doesn't, they're stupid and you can't scare them anyway. And then we'll just keep blowing up their boats as they come out. I think Colombia is starting to bark a little bit, but I don't care. I really don't care. He's got to do that because Colombia's where cartels are. He's got to act like he's for them and trying to defend them, or they'll probably kill him. We don't need to do anything more than we're doing. I think this will do it. I think this will put the fear of God into those heathens. If you're looking down the barrel of a U.S. Navy nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, some guided missile cruisers, probably a destroyer or two, and God knows how many subs are out there, because in that picture, I guarantee there's probably 3 or 4, at least 2 subs in that picture that have capable of delivering nuclear payloads as well as conventional payloads. against a country that really has no navy to speak of and could not defend themselves against it, I think that will be enough. I even think the cartels are going to blink because the cartel people are not stupid. Most of them are ex-military. They're trained. They know what they're doing. They've just decided to use their power for evil. But they're not stupid people. And I think even they realize they cannot win or even put a dent in the United States Navy. And attempting to do so would be suicide. I don't believe we need to go any further than what we're doing right now. I pray that the Venezuelan government really makes an effort to stop the cartels for their sake. I really don't want this to escalate because, like I said, this would be like Mike Tyson fighting a 3-year-old. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun for them. It's going to be devastating. And I don't want that for their country. I don't want that. So I hope something changes and that SecDef and the president of our country can pull out or pull back and let the Venezuelans deal with this problem. I don't think that's going to happen soon. And then again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They could be talking right now. I don't know. I'm just basing on what I'm saying is based on what I've seen, what I've read, and a little bit of insider stuff. But I don't think it's going to happen soon. If it happens, I think there's going to be some more boats put down. I think the Navy's going to flex a little bit differently just to show, hey, we can get you anywhere before this winds down. I don't think we're taking Colombia seriously because who would? I mean, once we flex and we show Venezuela, Colombia will be quiet. Again, they have no standing navy to speak of. They could not defend themselves. Neither of these countries, even if they combined their forces, couldn't defend against the U.S. Navy. Very few countries in this world could defend themselves against the U.S. Navy. And Russia would have a hard time. China would have a hard time with this. England, even though they're an ally, would have a hard time. Any country that has any navy that's worth speaking of would have a difficult time. Not because we're bigger or because, we have more, because we're well-trained. Our U.S. Navy is well-trained. They are some of the finest men and women this country can produce. They are doing a job that not everybody can, and they are capable, they are passionate, and they are motivated. And you cannot defeat somebody with those three qualities. You can't. So hopefully things calm down there and we can get our men and women back home and out of harm's way. What little bit of harm there may be, let's get them out of there as soon as we can. Let's make our point and then get out of there. But I really hope this is just a lot of saber rattling and they're not really considering a land invasion of Venezuela. Because I can guarantee you the mass majority of people in Venezuela are also anti-cartel. They don't want them there, but they live in fear because, like I said, the cartel that's a thing down there. They're just part of life down there. They've been there forever, and they're violent, and they will kill people. They kill cops, kill judges, kill politicians. So the average person is petrified of them, and understandably so. And like I said, they probably don't speak out like they should, but I guarantee you a vast majority of those people in those countries do not support the cartel. And that's why I don't want anything to happen that would jeopardize them or their families. I hope this shows that we have the resolve. We will do this if you make us. So I hope that comes to a screeching halt very soon. Because it's like I said, it's not going to be fun. Nobody's going to win that. I don't mean that like, ooh, we won, they lost. I just mean in the grand scheme of life, nobody's going to win that. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be one of the most one-sided things this world has ever seen if it comes down to it. So yeah, that's going on right now, and I support them. It's my country. It's my Navy. It's your people, your Navy. We should support them. Because, the cartels are not the good guys. They're not the victims. They don't deserve your pity. They don't deserve your support at all. At all. Because those people would just as soon cut your throat as they would sell drugs to you. It's really that simple. So, like I said, things are getting crazy. They're getting worse. It's time for good people to stand up and stand on the side of right. And hopefully things will wind down. I mean, it's got to. We're getting into the holidays. Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the big family holidays are coming up. And I hope everybody who's been deployed can come home and can enjoy time with their family, not be overseas. I hated that, being deployed away from home, period. But when there was a holiday in your deployment, that just made it worse. The good thing was you're with your brothers, and now with your brothers and sisters all in the same predicament, and it helped. It really helped. So that's going on. Just look. That is awesome firepower right there. That is epic. That is biblical. That firepower that can be brought to bear with those ships. Biblical. And I hope it doesn't come to that. Truly, truly don't. But time will tell. So once again, before we wrap up the show, do a quick review. Excuse me. To help those of us who really don't know better. If you see that, stay away from it. Don't interject. Don't give your opinion. Don't shove. Don't push. Don't try to rescue the person. Stay out of it. It's called obstruction or resisting, and you will go to jail. If they are ICE, you'll be charged with felonies and go to jail. Arrest, stay out of. If you're being arrested, do not fight. Go with it. Don't resist. You'll have your time to fight in court with a judge. You'll be able to explain your case to them. Fighting on the street, you'll never win, and it just racks up more charges. Arrests, stay out of. Don't interfere. It's really that simple. Can't make it any simple. Hamas. Trump is not playing with you. If you do not bring the bodies back of the dead hostages that you killed and bring them home to Israel in 48 hours, you might find out how strong our U.S. Navy is. You have 48 hours to adhere to the rules of the ceasefire. If you do not, Allah help you, because you're going to be on your own. Venezuela, the president, I don't know if you watch this or listen to this or someone tells you about this, don't mess with the U.S. Navy. Don't take this as an empty threat. Don't look at it and go, oh, we're not worried about it. Take it seriously. I'm begging you. Do whatever the president asks you when it comes to the cartels. Help him in any way you can to avoid this becoming a shitstorm, because you will not survive it. And I don't want that for you. Nobody in our country wants that for you, but we want the drugs to stop. You can help. If you help, you probably can prevent an ass whooping happening. Please. I'm being serious. That's the softer side of me. So once again, let's got Damon Galdo's show 2 days a week, or 1 day a week plus his radio show. Alexander Levine has 2 days of show. Wednesday, we're all together on the Pulse at 8 o'clock, where we talk about everything. We all have our little thoughts and opinions we share with everyone. Like this show, you could chat and ask us questions or make a point, and we will do our very best to respond to you, to your point or questions. And then, of course, I'm every Sunday night at 7 o'clock till 8:30-ish. And I know everybody loves to see me. It's like, oh, it's time for that lunatic. Let's watch him scream and yell and rant and rave and cuss like a sailor. And I do. And I enjoy it. And again, I hope your children don't hear me talking because I don't want them to hear my foul mouth. Well, it's that point in the show where I usually share an opinion with you. Sometimes the opinion is based on the show, or it's just something that crossed my mind during the week, and I wanted to share it. Excuse me, I got a burp. This kind of goes with the show. And once again, I'm not trying to change your mind or make you agree with me. I'm just sharing you my opinion and my point of view. Tell me to pound sand, kick rocks, or hey, I agree with you. But here we go. The anti-ICE protests are a glorious dumpster fire of performative virtue, a chaotic blend of LARPing, which is live action role playing, LARPing revolutionaries, and social media warriors who think they're just dismantling an empire, but are mostly just yelling at fences. Imagine a parade of self-proclaimed freedom fighters, dreadlock baristas, trust fund anarchists in abolish ICE hoodies, probably bought for some capitalist print-on-demand site, and TikTok influencers with pronouns in their bio, marching through the streets like they're auditioning for a reboot of Les Miserables. Their signs scream no cages, no walls, and ICE is fascism. As if immigration and customs enforcement is single-handedly turning America into a dystopian novel. It's October 2025, and these folks are out here fighting a border agency like it's the Death Star, while the real world spins on, powered by the very capitalism they decry. The scene is a masterclass in cognitive dissonance. Picture a guy in a thrift store, wearing a bandana, waving a borders are violence sign, while sipping a $14 oatmeal mocha from a coffee chain that pays less tax than a medieval serf. Nearby, a gaggle of college kids, fresh from their decolonizing geography seminar, chant, "No human is illegal," a catchy slogan for sure, but about as practical as demanding free unicorns for everyone. One protester, rocking a knockoff Che Guevara beret, was live streaming his revolution on X via his $1,500 smartphone, apparently oblivious to the irony that capitalism built the tech he's using to rage against. The crowd's energy was less storm the Bastille and more crash a vegan potluck with megaphones. They weren't fighting ICE, they were fighting a vibe, and the vibe was winning. The X feed was comedic gold. Abolish ICE trended briefly before getting drowned out by Ice Queen, a hashtag for some influencer's new frozen cocktail line. Capitalism never sleeps, folks. One viral clip showed a protester in a smash the system shirt trying to liberate a chain link fence outside an ICE office, only to trip and faceplant in a puddle. Another gem, a teary-eyed activist ranting about kids in cages in front of a strip mall, recycling a 2018 talking point that's been debunked more times than the flat earth theory. Their pinned X post, a manifesto dripping with buzzwords like imperialist violence, decolonize borders, demand ICE's dissolution, but offers zero plans for what happens when borders become a free-for-all. Here's a spoiler, people. Human trafficking and cartel profits love open borders. Check Europe's 2015 migrant crisis data, where smuggling networks thrived amid lax enforcement. Now let's talk Trump and capitalism, because the anti-ICE crowd can't resist painting them as the ultimate villains. Newsflash, ICE isn't Trump's personal goon squad. It's a federal agency enforcing laws passed by Congress, laws that existed way before Trump's first tweet. He didn't invent borders. He just had the balls to say they need enforcing, which in a world of 8 billion people isn't exactly crazy. ICE's job isn't to terrorize grandmas. It's to deport people who break immigration laws, often after due process. In 2023, ICE detained about 680,000 people, mostly those criminals with convictions or repeat violations, while millions entered legally. But why let stats ruin a good temper tantrum? Trump, for all his brashness, is the opposite of the elitist kings these protesters claim to hate. He's a capitalist icon, hotels, golf courses, The Apprentice, who built an empire through hustle, not handouts. He's the guy who looked at the border mess and said, fix it. Not because he's heartless, but because unchecked immigration strains cities, schools, and hospitals. Just ask sanctuary cities like Chicago, drowning in 400 million in migrant costs per year. Capitalism, meanwhile, is the engine that powers the protesters' lives. It is the reason they can buy their Abolish ICE merch on Etsy, stream their outrage on X, or order DoorDash when the protest runs late and mom's in bed and can't make their Hot Pockets. Since 1990, global poverty plummeted from 36% to 10%, thanks to markets, not manifestos. Compared to the socialist utopias the anti-ICE crowd flirts with, where bread lines and blackouts are the vibe. Here's the real joke. While the anti-ICE crew demonizes Trump and capitalism, they're blind to the actual kings ruling them. It's not ICE or Trump. It's the unelected bureaucrats, the woke corporate HR overlords, the tech giants who shadow ban their ex-posts when they stray from the script. Trump's been fighting that swamp for years, pushing deregulation and free speech to businesses and people so they can thrive. Capitalism gives you a shot to work out the system and make things better. Again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You can tell me I'm full of crap. Turn me off. Well, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. All 5 or 6 of you that were here. I appreciate it. And I'll keep talking as long as 2 of you show up. I'll do this every Sunday. Once again, I don't have the words. I'm humbled that you take time out of your day to come sit with me and listen to me talk. I appreciate it. And feel free to chat. I am not going to ignore you. I will go back and forth with you. Even if I'm in the middle of something and you say something, I will try to get to you. And we can talk about that instead of what I had planned. I am like a river. I go with the flow and I bend. So keep that in mind. So I will see you all Wednesday on The Pulse with Damon the Hammer and Alexander. Thank you very much. Again, this is a Conservative Corner. I'm Seth Eisenberg. And just remember, if you live your life based on principles and not a party, you're going to live a good life and you're going to leave something behind that your family can be proud of. Everybody have a good rest of the weekend. Have a good week, and I'll see you Wednesday.
Righteous pride in this one big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand from shore to shore. We